An Ukrainian official recently shared a video showing a stockpiled drone army amid the ongoing war with Russia. Mikhailo Fedorov, the Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister for Innovation, Education, Science and Technology, wrote in a translated Telegram post, "Powerful drones are our competitive advantage over the Russians. Birds changed the course of war and saved the lives of soldiers." During the 9 months of the UNIT-24 project, the drone army contracted 3,200 UAV complexes for over $4 billion, over USD 100 million. The doctrine of the use of UAVs was completely transformed. Over 7,000 military personnel have been trained as drone operators. Ukrainian tank storms Russian trenches near Bakhmut. In another terrifying drone video from the front lines, battle took place south of the town of Ivanivsk that lies to the west of Bakhmut. The region has experienced brutal fighting in Putin's 14-month-long war. This is the terrifying moment a Ukrainian tank fired on a Russian trench from point-blank range before soldiers moved in to finish the job. The battle took place south of the town of Ivanivsk that lies to the west of besieged city Bakhmut, which has been the focus of the war's bloodiest fighting since Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered the invasion of Ukraine last year. Brutal fighting for the city and the surrounding region has seen the return of trench warfare to Europe, in scenes reminiscent of the First and Second World Wars. This is the terrifying moment a Ukrainian tank fired on a Russian trench from point-blank range. In the footage captured from a distance and released by Ukraine's 5 Separate Assault Brigade, a Ukrainian tank is seen rolling down a road through a barren field left scarred by battle, stalking its targets. A long zigzag trench is seen running parallel to the road, like a scar on the land, with Russian soldiers sheltering inside with no weapons to counter the heavy armor. The battle took place south of the town of Ivanivsk that lies to the west of besieged city Bakhmut, which has been the focus of the war's bloodiest fighting since Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered the invasion of Ukraine last year. The footage shows a second armored vehicle rolling up the road alongside the trench, this time an armored fighting vehicle with ground troops inside and released by Ukraine's 5 Separate Assault Brigade. A Ukrainian tank is seen rolling down a road through a barren field left scarred by battle, stalking its targets. Once in position, the tank fires off several rounds at the trench. The first narrowly misses, but its follow-up shots hit their mark, tearing up the earth around the trench and rattling Putin's troops inside. Kyiv's forces have been holding back Russia's advance in eastern Ukraine's devastated fortress city, with soldiers saying they were ready to launch their long-anticipated counteroffensive once the weather improves to push Moscow back. The months-long battle for Bakhmut, one of the last urban centers in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk province, yet to fall to Moscow, has proven one of the bloodiest of Russia's invasion, now in its 14th month. The battles for Bakhmut continue, said Andriy Yermak, a senior advisor to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The footage shows a second armored vehicle rolling up the road alongside the trench, this time an armored fighting vehicle with ground troops inside. The tank is then seen reversing back down the road away from the trench. But if the Russian soldiers thought this was the end of the onslaught, they would have been sorely mistaken. First, the mounted machine gun on top of the vehicle is seen opening fire on the trench, pinning down 2 Russian soldiers who are seen attempting to flee. In a desperate attempt to escape the unrelenting assault, the Russian soldiers are shown crawling on their hands and knees as bullets slam into the earth around them. At this point in the footage, 4 Ukrainian soldiers appear from the rear of the infantry fighting vehicle. One of the soldiers, armed with a rocket launcher, fires off a missile at the trench as the armored vehicle provides covering fire. The soldiers then fires off a second missile. Both cause huge blasts in the trench. Russian casualty numbers were unclear, but the brutal footage ends by showing a trail of bodies lining the trench. Footage shows a second armored vehicle rolling up the road alongside the trench, this time an armored fighting vehicle with ground troops inside. It was not clear when the video was filmed, but it emerged as Ukrainian and Russian forces continued their deadly battle in the street of Bakhmut. A plume of smoke rises as a Ukrainian soldier fires off a missile at a Russian position. A Ukrainian soldier, bottom right, is seen advancing up the trench as the armored vehicle provides suppressing fire. Western analysts have played down the strategic significance of Bakhmut, but Ukraine has framed its dogged defense of what is now a completely destroyed city as a way of wearing down Russian forces. Soldiers manning the trenches near Bakhmut said they were ready for any counteroffensive. Bakhmut is performing the key task of inflicting as many losses on Russia as possible and, most importantly, to prepare for a counterattack to take place in late April-May. Pavlo Narozhny, a Ukrainian military analyst, told NV Radio. Fighting is also raging further south in Avdiivka, a town near the regional capital of Donetsk. Ukrainian military expert Vladislav Seleznyov said Ukraine would be able to defend positions in the more heavily built-up west of Bakhmut, as long as their route to the west, the road of light for getting supplies in and wounded out, remained open. "We are ready, we have to do it. The sooner, the better. The enemy must be chased away. At the moment we are waiting for the weather to change, the mud is an obstacle," Naza, a 21-year-old unit commander, told Reuters. President Zelensky said on Wednesday that Ukrainian troops could withdraw from Bakhmut if they risked getting cut off. Dmitry Suslov, an advisor to Putin, was quoted as saying there was zero chance of peace talks happening in 2023. Suslov, speaking to Italy's Corriere della Sera newspaper in an interview published on Thursday, said Ukraine's much-anticipated counteroffensive was likely to focus on the Sea of Azov and cutting off the Crimea Peninsula, annexed by Moscow in 2014, but played down the chances of it succeeding. If the Kiev offensive fails, the West will be short of weapons, and at that point Russia will be able to mobilize 400,000 men for the final attack, he said.
Огонь!